Friends and grasshoppers, this is the Formless Podcast, episode number 140. I'm a big believer in first takes. And today's episode, is going to be no different. I'm going to read a story I wrote, and I would like you to think about it like a Aesop's fable or a parable, if you will. We've all seen movies and music, listened to music, and a couple of things come to mind here. I'd like you to think back, watching a movie or listening to a song, and when you go back and re-sample that, when you go back and re-watch that movie, re-listen to that song again, you see something in the scene or hear a part of music, maybe a breakdown or a solo or something in the background that you missed the first time. That, to me, brings me a great deal of excitement. It's almost like watching a new movie or listening to a new song when you hear something, or when I hear something that I missed the first time around. I live for those moments. Anyways, I'd like to tell this story, and I'd like you to think about that type of a moment. Last episode, we talked about the gates and what the learning gates are. We kind of went over it, and that got me thinking, and that got me writing this story. And I've written it 3 different times now. And I keep going back to the first line, the first edition, or the first draft, so to speak. I like that one the best. And I've changed them around. And for reference, talking about music, there's a little tidbit of information I thought might be interesting. My favorite band in the whole wide world, Black Sabbath, they recorded their self-titled debut album in a single 12-hour session. The Beatles' Please Please Me was recorded in about 9 hours and 45 minutes. Just under 13 hours of studio time. First drafts to me are kind of important. So, that being said, this story is a little bit of a first draft. So you'll have to forgive me. You'll have to forgive the page wrestling you hear, because I didn't memorize it. We are all walking a path. We all are. Everyone you know, everyone you've met, everyone you've ever seen is walking this path. It's well used, with many twists and turns. It has many paths that connect to it and spider web off of it. Sometimes it's as wide as a freeway. And other times it is so narrow you have to suck your gut in and squeeze through. Walking on this path for some time, we come across all of these things, wide and narrow, with twists and turns, hills, and sometimes the path is smooth and easy. Other times it's filled with obstacles and challenges that make traversing difficult. After some time of walking and running it, and other times crawling it, we reach a massive gate, bronze in color, too tall to climb, too slick to grip. The sign over the top of the gate shows a man sitting cross-legged with his hands over his eyes and the word blindness beside it. Blocking the gate sleeps a massive dragon. The other people on the path push and strike at the dragon to get past, but the dragon does not budge. We try like the others to climb over it, to go around it, to strike it. We even try and wake the dragon up. Nothing seems to work. Hours of this go by. Finally, in our great frustration, exhausted from the efforts, we collapse in front of the dragon, who sleeps soundly. We open our eyes startled as a grizzled warrior sits down next to us. We can tell by the dirt and the grime that covers him that he has no doubt seen countless battles. He eyes us wearily, not too sure if we are to yet be another fight. Then, ever so slowly and silently, he brings a finger to his lips. Shh. Then, cupping his ear and motioning us to do the same, we cup our ears. The warrior whispers something. At first, the whisper is faint, barely audible over the snores of the sleeping dragon and the wails of the others trying to get past the gate. As we strain to listen, our eyes widen. We see a path open before us, right around the dragon and through an opening in the gate. We rise, thank the warrior, and move around the sleeping dragon and through the gate. There are less people walking this path, but they are here all the same. Moving further down the path, past the first gate, we notice new obstacles and challenges along the way, along with the old ones, some of the old ones. Sometimes the path is covered in sand or gravel, which makes it slippery. The hills are steeper, and the path snakes up in a zigzagging pattern up the mountains. The path, although new, has many familiar obstacles and repeating terrain features. After some time, we come to another bronze-colored gate, too high to climb with no visible way to pass. This banner across the top shows two images of the same man, but they are sitting back to back. One is cut into the surface, concave. The other protrudes from the surface, convexed. I might have those backwards. One is painted black, the other is white. The word duality emblazed on the image, or next to the image of the two men. Blocking the gate is another dragon. This one, however, is awake. Smoke rises from his nostrils. The dragon bares his teeth. Growling, he snaps, blowing fire at the others trying to get past. We can do this, we tell each other. Dragons don't exist. Pumping ourselves up, we scream with rage, charge the dragon. The dragon sees this and whips its tail, sending us up into the air, where we flip head over heels and hitting the ground hard. Again, we get to our feet, dusting ourselves off and shaking our heads, trying to make the ringing in our ears stop. Gritting our teeth, we charge the dragon yet again, only to be knocked back on our rear end. The air escapes us, and we black out. When we come to, the same warrior we saw at the last gate sits cross-legged in front of us, a little more dirty, a little more disheveled, no doubt from fighting more battles. This time the warrior takes a deep breath and lets that out slowly. He does this a few more times, motioning us to do the same. Once our breath has evened out and slowed, the warrior motions once again to calm ourselves. Steady, says the warrior. Humbleness defeats the foolish dragon. Once again, we stand, dust ourselves off, but this time, slowly and more deliberately, with our breath measured and even, we look around. We gather our things and walk towards the dragon. The dragon rakes at others with its paws, knocking others with its tail, notices us on the path, coming for him. He raises up on his rear legs to his full height and lets out a roar that rings our ears and everyone around, fiendishly beating its wings, which causes tremendous gusts of wind and kicks up swarms of dust, blowing many off their feet. We brace ourselves against the wind, our feet digging in with every step, shielding our eyes from the flying debris, moving forward steadily, slowly, past the dragon and through the opening in the gate that we did not see before in all of our haste. The path beyond the gate of duality looks a lot like the path before, but it has even more hills and yet more paths spiderwebbing off of it. Some of the hills are steeper yet, and this time the path has booby traps, pitfalls, and snares to slow us down and make the journey even harder to pass. Some are out in the open and easily seen. Others hidden and harder to spot, but they're just the same. Over the last hill, we spot the third gate, but where the first two were closed, this one is wide open. The header above the gate shows an image of the black and white painted men. This time, they face each other. The exact opposite of each other, where one image is cut into the header and the other pushes out from the surface, except for where the hands and feet meet. That part is smoothed out, flush with the surface of the sign. Lest we forget, there's a big dragon here too. But he's not sleeping, nor is he mean in any way. This one's more like Puff, the magic dragon, than Smog from the Lord of the Rings. There are others here too. They crowd to the gate, but very few get close, as the dragon has gifts, toys, candy, phones, games, and all sorts of goodies. One by one, as the people get close, the dragon brings the gifts to bear. A phone here, food there, toys, so on and so on. The travelers take the gifts and become enamored with them. They wander off, sitting near the trail, some so close to the threshold of the gate that if they rolled over or laid down, they would be past it. But they are enamored and so in love with this new gift that it has all their attention. Others veer off the path completely and are soon lost. We survey the scene below, quickly nod to each other and go down. As we reach the gate, the dragon greets us with a large, toothy smile, his arms filled with piles of gifts, food, and other shiny things. "There is no fight here," he says. Relieved, we both grab a few gifts and go about finding a comfortable place to sit with our new distractions. So enamored with our shiny new lusts, we almost miss the warrior, this time dressed with fresh bandages on top of the dirt and the grime that is caked on him. He eyes each of us. I too have been lost to material things before. His eyes narrows, and he rights himself before us. The balance between rest and distraction is thinner than the edge of a blade. One must tread lightly here. One false step could be life-altering. He looks to the gate, ignoring the dragon and all the others, focusing only on the gate, and he walks through. We look to each other, quickly putting away our newly acquired toys and gathering our things. We rise and start for the gate. The dragon cuts in front of us, facing us with his toothy, grinning maw. Says, "Going so soon?" In his arms, new clothes, toys, more food, countless objects that we all desire. Quickly, we glance at each other, nodding our heads in the negative, and then locking our eyes on the gate that appears to be closing. We move through the threshold. The path continues on. It feels familiar under our feet, but this portion of the path leads up the face of a mountain, sometimes only fractions of an inch wide, with the only options being the face of the mountain on one side and a cliff to nothing on the other. Or the path forward. We press over the mountain. We pass through quicksand, pit traps and snares, snow and rain. Yet despite all of these challenges, we press on. We press on. Tired, dirty, hungry. Despite it all, we press on. When we feel that taking one more step might be the end of us, we see yet another gate. The bronze gate, just like the others, is tall and smooth, like the others, impassable, except for the gate, which is closed. The banner across the top reads emptiness. It is barren of all other description, just like the word. Like the other gates, this too is guarded by a dragon. This dragon blocks the gate with a huge bulbous belly, as if he has devoured a large feast. The dragon pays us and other travelers on this journey no mind. The dragon leans against the gate, picking at his teeth with an uprooted tree. This dragon is much larger than all the previous ones combined. His body completely blocks the path through the gate. Just then, the warrior crests the hill next to us and gives us a knowing look. He takes a long, slow breath, fixes his gaze on the gate, and the dragon walks steadily fixes his eyes on his gaze on the gate, the dragon, and walks steadily towards them both. As he closes in on the gate, the warrior is slowed by the muck and mud that clings to his feet. The rain and the wind doesn't help and slows him further. As he reaches the dragon, who bellows with laughter, the warrior places both hands on the belly of the dragon and pushes. His legs shake and slide in the mud, and he continues to push on despite the dragon and the others laughing, despite the time it takes, despite the fact that he makes no perceived progress. The warrior slips, falls face first in the mud. He gets up and continues to push for what seems like hours. Push. The rain intensifies. Push. The wind blows at hurricane pace. Push. We go and stand beside the warrior. All of us push. Together. Push. The dragon roars with laughter. We push. One by one, our fingertips sink into the dragon, and then our hands. Gritting our teeth and digging into the dirt, we push up to our elbows, our shoulders. We continue. Push until we come through the dragon. All the way out the other side. The gate opens with a click. And we walk through once more on the path, looking at a familiar scene and a bronze-colored gate in the distance with a man sitting cross-legged, covering his eyes, and the word blindness written on the top. We all are walking this path. Some run. Some crawl. Some are carried. Fewer carry others. Regardless, we all are on it. This path looks familiar as we walk. We point out rocks, trees, flowers that we've seen before. There's all sorts of paths that spiderweb off of it to and for. Sometimes it's like a multi-line freeway. Other times it's narrow. We have to squeeze through. Sometimes it's grown with trees that make a canopy over the top and so dark you can barely see. Other times it's like a beautifully manicured golf course. After walking for some time, running others, we reach a gate. Hope you like that, friends. We have all of our social media can be found at the Formless Pod. Our website is theformlesspod.com. You can email us at formlesspod@gmail.com. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, a wonderful day. I'm recording this on Easter, so hopefully you had a great Easter, spent some time with some loved ones. Until next time.